Have you ever stopped to think about something like a cloth bag? How something that simple could actually, mirror these huge global economic shifts?
Mm.
Sounds pretty mundane, maybe. But today, yeah, we're doing a deep dive into the surprisingly significant world of the global cloth bag market.
It's fascinating, actually.
You've got this really comprehensive market research report as our guide, packed with trends, revenue data, future opportunities, all of it.
Yeah, lots of detail in there.
And our mission really is to get behind those numbers, to
Yeah.
unpack the powerful growth trends, the surprising factors shaping this whole sector, help you connect the dots between, well, a simple item and this massive global movement.
Right.
Okay, let's unpack this then.
Yeah, let's do it because it's absolutely true what you said. This isn't really just about a bag, is it?
No, not at all.
This whole market, it's like a living, breathing example of, well, a rising global consciousness around sustainability. And it's directly tied to governments cracking down on single-use plastics.
Right, the regulations play a big part.
A huge part. So what we're seeing isn't just an industry getting bigger, it's more fundamental. A real shift in how we consume globally.
And when we talk about getting bigger, the numbers are, well, they're pretty striking.
They really are.
So back in 2021, market pulled in, what, about $3.18 billion?
Just over 3 billion.
But then it's projected to jump over $5 billion by 2025. And here's the kicker. By 2033, it's forecast to just skyrocket. We're talking nearly $12.7 billion.
Wow, that's a massive leap in just over a decade.
Exactly. And that represents a compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of 12.2% over that time.
Right. That 12.2%, it's not just a number, is it? It basically means the market's almost quadrupled.
Quadrupling, yeah. That kind of double-digit growth, consistently, it just screams surging demand for reusable, eco-friendly options.
Absolutely. And what's really interesting is how this growth story unfolds differently across different parts of the world. It's powerful everywhere, but unique regionally.
Okay, yeah, that's where it gets really interesting for me, too. Let's break it down by region, then. Because Asia-Pacific, for instance, that seems like a real powerhouse here, doesn't it?
It definitely is. Asia-Pacific is really emerging as a leader. It started around, just over $1 billion in 2021?
Yeah, $1.029 billion.
Right. And it's projected to more than quadruple, hitting over $4.3 billion by 2033. That's a regional CAGR of over 12.7%, even higher than the global average.
Higher, yeah. So who's driving that within Asia-Pacific?
Well, if you drill down, countries like China and India are just massive contributors. China's market is projected to reach nearly $1.3 billion itself by 2033.
Okay.
And India has one of the highest growth rates, actually. It's on track to hit almost $1 billion by then, too. We're talking the CAGR is over 13% for both.
Wow. So 13% plus in China and India? What does that tell us? Big populations adopting this quickly.
It suggests, yeah, a powerful mix of factors. Huge consumer bases, definitely. Growing middle classes, maybe changing habits. And like we said, increasingly strict environmental rules coming into play.
And Japan's significant too, right? And others.
Oh, yeah. Japan's growing strong, too, heading towards maybe $650 million by 2033. And you've got South Korea, Australia, Southeast Asia. They're all showing really solid double-digit CAGRs, mostly between 10 and 13%.
Incredible. So a massive consumer shift plus policy really firing up the market there. How does Europe compare? More established market, maybe different dynamics?
Europe's also showing a very healthy growth, very robust. It started around $857 million back in 2021.
All right.
And it's projected to grow to over $3.3 billion by 2033. So still a very strong CAGR, just over 12%.
Still double digits, yeah.
Yeah.
And within Europe, any standouts?
Yeah, definitely. The UK, Germany, Italy, they're all leading the charge. Each one projected to be well over $400 million, maybe even $500 or $600 million by 2033.
Significant country markets there, too.
Absolutely. And what it suggests, perhaps, is that unlike Asia-Pacific's sort of new large-scale adoption, maybe, Europe's growth is possibly fueled more by, existing environmental awareness.
Right. It's been part of the conversation longer there.
Exactly. Strong policies have been pushing sustainability for a while, so the shift to reusable bags feels maybe more like a natural evolution for consumers there. It's already baked in.
That makes a lot of sense. Established awareness meeting this growing demand. Okay, so what about North America? Often seen as a trend leader. How's the adoption curve looking there?
North America is also a really significant piece of the puzzle. It started around $704 million in 2021, and it's expected to climb to over $2.7 billion by 2033. So maintaining a strong CAGR just under 12%. Pretty consistent with the other major regions.
And the U.S. dominates that, I assume.
By far. The U.S. is projected to account for over $2.1 billion of that $2.7 billion total by 2033.
Wow.
But Canada's showing really strong growth, too, actually. Its CAGR is even higher, over 13.6%.
Higher than the U.S. Interesting.
Yeah. And Mexico's solid, too, growing steadily. What's fascinating here, I think, is how these established markets are also adapting so quickly. Often it's spurred by, local or state-level plastic bag bans.
Yeah, the policy patchwork effect.
Exactly. Those bans have really accelerated the shift, haven't they? Making cloth bags just a common sight everywhere now.
It really feels like policy is a massive lever globally in this space. Okay, moving south then, South America.
Yeah.
How's the picture there?
Also showing an impressive momentum. It grew from roughly $300 million in 2021
Right.
to a projected $1.2 billion plus by 2033. That's a CAGR over 12.3%. So again, strong double-digit growth.
And Brazil leads there.
Brazil's the big player, yeah. Projected to hit over $500 million itself. But you also see Argentina, Colombia, Peru, Chile, all showing CAGRs above 12%. Real consistency.
Okay. And the Middle East.
Yeah.
Similar story.
Pretty similar, yeah. Growing from about $188 million to over $760 million between 2021 and 2033. The CAGR there is also just over 12.3%.
Very consistent growth rates across these regions.
It really is. Saudi Arabia leads in the Middle East, expected to reach nearly $240 million. But again, Turkey, UAE, Egypt, Qatar, all reflecting CAGRs around or above that 12% mark.
That consistency across South America and the Middle East, it really underscores that this isn't just a trend in, traditionally green regions.
No, it's truly global now. Awareness is spreading. Consumers everywhere are looking for more sustainable choices, which brings us, finally, to Africa.
Right. How does Africa fit into this picture?
Well, it's still showing growth, which is positive, but the pace is, well, it's a bit different.
Okay.
The African market is projected to grow from about $105 million in 2021 to just over $250 million by 2033.
So still more than doubling, but...
Right, but the CAGR is more moderate. It's around 7.1%, noticeably lower than the double digits we saw pretty much everywhere else.
And who are the main drivers within Africa?
Nigeria and South Africa are the key markets there. Nigeria projected to get over $100 million. South Africa, slightly over $100 million as well by 2033.
That lower growth rate in Africa.
Yeah.
It does raise a question, doesn't it? Does that point to maybe different challenges, infrastructure, economic factors, maybe influencing the pace of adoption?
It's a really important question. And yeah, that comparatively lower PKR could definitely point to different socioeconomic factors being more dominant, perhaps a slower rollout of regulations, or simply different priorities given other developmental challenges.
Makes sense.
But the universal truth, I think, across all these regions, despite the different rates, is still this undeniable trend, this clear move towards reusable alternatives. It just confirms a really widespread adoption of sustainable thinking, pushing consumers towards products like cloth bags.
Yeah.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? What does all this actually mean for you listening as a consumer and for the broader global markets?
Exactly. Because when you step back and look at all this data, this detailed picture, it's just clearly showing a massive global shift, a shift towards sustainability, towards more responsible consumption.
It's undeniable.
It's not just some passing fad. It feels like a profound, ongoing movement that's really reshaping how we interact with everyday things. And cloth bags, they're right at the forefront, aren't they? Moving from niche item to, well, mainstream necessity in many places.
Absolutely. They've become a symbol almost.
Yeah. And this isn't just about a small market segment growing. It feels like a really significant indicator of changing behavior, driven by both, our own choices and the very real impact of government policies worldwide.
That's the core insight, I think. This booming cloth bag market is such a powerful, tangible example. It shows how collective environmental awareness plus those regulatory nudges are directly reshaping global economies.
Yeah.
It really demonstrates how even seemingly small shifts in our daily habits, like just choosing a reusable bag, can actually fuel massive market transformation on a global scale.
That's a great point. So considering everything we've unpacked in this deep dive, it leaves me wondering, what other everyday products, or maybe even whole industries, do you think are potentially on the cusp of that kind of transformational growth, driven by this same wave of global awareness and sustainable practices?
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Our mission, as always, is to take that deep breath and then, well, really dive into a stack of sources. We want to pull out those crucial bits of knowledge, the aha moments, maybe some surprising facts, just to get you well-informed fast. Today, we are plunging into the really fascinating world of the global cloth bag market. It's constantly evolving. Our main source for this is the eco-conscious rise of cloth bags. It's a great foundation, really helps us unpack things. We'll look at what's driving the growth, the hurdles it's facing, and some pretty exciting trends that are like totally redefining how we think about bags and sustainability, of course. Okay, so let's unpack this. What's really fueling this big shift towards cloth bags? It seems like a mix of things working together.
Definitely. You've got, first off, just this huge wave of environmental awareness. People are much more clued in now.
Right, and governments are stepping in too with regulatory crackdowns on plastic.
Exactly. All over the globe, really. There's this growing understanding of the long-term damage single-use plastics do to ecosystems.
So when those plastic bag bans hit,
Boom. Cloth bags become the natural go-to alternative, don't they?
yeah, it makes sense. They're reusable, often biodegradable, and just, a genuinely eco-friendly solution.
For groceries, for retail, even just around the house.
But it's not just the rules, right? It goes deeper into how people are behaving.
Oh, absolutely. Consumer behavior is key here, especially millennials and Gen Z.
Yeah, what about them specifically?
Well, they're really shaping this new market expectation where sustainability isn't some luxury add-on. It's fundamental. They want practicality, sure, but also that real environmental value.
And products that kind of align with their ethics.
Precisely. And cloth bags, they tick all those boxes. So you see this massive surge in people using them repeatedly.
Especially in cities, I guess. And maybe more sustainability-focused suburbs.
That's where it's really taken off, yeah.
And, okay, this is interesting, too, how retailers are jumping on board.
Right. They're not just, grudgingly complying. They see an opportunity.
A branding opportunity.
Exactly. Think about it, that custom-printed cloth bag from your grocery store. Or like a boutique.
It's more than just carrying stuff.
Way more. It's got higher visibility, lasts much longer than plastic. It basically becomes a walking advertisement.
Huh. So it minimizes the environmental hit and boosts the brand.
You got it. Dual purpose. And this isn't just a small thing. It's genuinely accelerating growth both in developed markets and increasingly in emerging economies, too.
What's truly remarkable here is how swiftly policy changes, like those plastic bans, can just trigger such a huge shift.
Yeah, it's almost like it forces the adoption in a way that maybe awareness campaigns alone struggle to do.
It's like this unique alignment, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got policy, consumer demand, and corporate strategy all kind of clicking together.
Driving the market forward, yeah, at a really incredible pace.
But, okay, it can't all be smooth sailing. There have to be challenges.
Oh, for sure. There are definitely some significant headwinds this market faces.
What's the biggest one?
I'd say the most substantial, and it keeps coming up, is the higher production cost.
Compared to plastic, you mean?
Right. You're dealing with natural fabrics, which can be pricier to grow and process. Then there's the stitching, often more labor-intensive. And, sustainable finishing practices add to it as well.
So all that adds up to a higher price tag.
Which can be a real barrier, especially, for smaller businesses or consumers in developing nations. Plastic bags are just, economically, they're tough to beat sometimes.
And what about using them? Any downsides there?
Yeah, practicality comes into it. Durability and water resistance can be issues.
We've all been there, right? Caught in the rain with groceries.
Exactly. Or just carrying a really heavy load. Some cloth bags just, they don't hold up as well in those demanding situations. They can wear out, tear.
Yeah.
Especially if you're thinking about things like, say, industrial packaging. That really limits where they can be used effectively.
And are people everywhere adopting them at the same rate?
No, definitely not. There's a noticeable adoption gap, particularly in rural areas and places with lower incomes.
Why is that, do you think?
It seems to be a mix, maybe less immediate awareness about the big sustainability picture, plus just the sheer familiarity and, frankly, accessibility of cheap plastic bags. They're deeply ingrained.
So bridging that gap.
Yeah.
Education, affordability, that's pretty crucial then.
Absolutely critical if we want to unlock the full global market potential in those zones.
It really brings up that tricky question about the true cost of things, doesn't it?
It does. The production cost of sock bags is higher, that's clear. But are we really counting the full cost of plastic?
You mean the hidden costs?
Yeah, the environmental cleanup, the potential health impacts, microplastics, all of that. if those costs were actually factored into the price of a plastic bag, well, the economic comparison might look quite different.
So it's not just balancing desire versus cost, but maybe rethinking what cost even means.
Fundamentally, yes, taking that longer-term view.
Okay, so we have these drivers, these challenges. What's next? What does the future look like? Are there exciting trends?
Oh, definitely. Some really interesting things are happening that are kind of reshaping the market.
Like what?
Well, one fascinating trend is the real rise of designer and custom-printed cloth bags.
So not just basic totes anymore.
Not at all. People are treating them like actual fashion accessories. They want personalized prints, maybe artisanal touches, nice designs.
Things like natural dyes, special fabrics.
Exactly. Regional fabrics, handmade patterns, all that is gaining huge traction. It shows cloth bags are crossing over, becoming like a lifestyle item.
And what about the materials themselves? Any changes there?
Huge momentum there. The adoption of organic and recycled materials is really growing.
So like organic cotton.
Organic cotton, yeah, or sturdy stuff like jute.
Yeah.
Even innovative materials made from repurposed textile waste.
And brands are deliberately choosing these.
Increasingly, yes, to lower their environmental footprint, obviously, but also because it attracts those eco-aware consumers. And it pushes innovation all the way down the supply chain. Better fibers, maybe even natural water-resistant coatings, things like that.
And how are people actually buying these bags? Has that changed?
Massively. You really can't underestimate the role of e-commerce here.
Online platforms.
Yeah, they've become the main place people go when they're looking for sustainable products, including cloth bags.
Makes sense. More choice online.
Way more choice. Plus customization options, designs you'd never find in a physical store, and, crucially, global reach.
So it helps smaller players too, like artisans or green startups.
Absolutely. It makes it so much easier for them to scale up and connect directly with customers anywhere in the world without needing, expensive retail space.
So if we tie all that together, the move towards fashion, better materials, online sales.
It's more than just trends. That shift from purely utilitarian to, like, a fashion statement, that's a big psychological step.
How so?
It turns sustainability from something you should do into something you want to do, something aspirational.
Ah, I see. So it opens up new markets.
Totally. And it just shows how innovation in materials, design, how things are sold can transform a simple item, a bag, into
a statement.
a statement of conscious living. Yeah.
Okay, so wrapping this deep dive up, it feels pretty clear the cloth bag market is it's way more than just a knee-jerk reaction to environmental rules.
Exactly. It's a robust, really dynamic industry. It's responding directly to this global demand for alternatives to plastic that are sustainable but also stylish and, ethical. From the big city shops to tiny online stores, cloth bags are genuinely redefining how we carry our conscience.
One tote at a time, as they say.
One tote at a time.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. Thinking about everything we've discussed, from the eco-conscious rise of cloth bags and beyond, how might the successes and also the challenges of this global cloth bag market serve as a kind of blueprint, or maybe even a cautionary tale for other industries trying to become more sustainable? What lessons learned here about cost, consumer behavior, innovation, what could be applied more broadly, beyond just bags, as we look towards a more circular economy? Something to think about.